Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Pratik Singh Classes. This video is for CBSE Board Standard 10th Science Chapter 2. Okay, here we will start from section 2.3, that is how strong are acid or base solutions. In row, this is the 7th video for the Standard 10th Science. The first 4 videos were for chapter 1, then the next 2 are for chapter 2, and this is the 3rd video in chapter 3, and totally 7th for Standard 10 Science. Fine. So let us start from section 2.3 today. How strong are acid or base solutions? Before I start, let me request to all of you, please subscribe my channel Pratik Singh Classes and hit the bell icon so that whenever I will put a new video, you will get its instant notification. Alright. Fine. We know how acid-base indicators can be used to distinguish between an acid and a base. Okay. In previous video, we have seen that how turmeric powder or turmeric paste, and then how litmus papers are used to find out whether the given solution is acidic or basic. Okay. So we have learned a lot of things about different types of indicators and how do they react when they come in contact with acid or a base. Okay. Also in the previous video we have studied about how to dilute the acid or a base. Okay, means what really happens is whenever acid is mixed with water, it leaves H plus ion, and when a base is mixed with water, okay, or when water is added in base, okay, OH minus ions are released. Okay, higher will be the amount of water, lesser will be the amount of H plus or OH minus in the solution. Okay, so decreasing the concentration of H plus ion from acid or OH minus ion from base is called as dilation. Okay, higher will be the amount of water, lesser will be the amount of H plus or OH minus for acid or base respectively. Fine. Can we quantitatively find the amount of these ions present in solution? Means can we say that in any solution, if we are given, suppose in a beaker we have a solution of acid and water, then can we say in mathematically what is the amount of ions present there? Okay, can we judge how strong a given acid or base is? Yes, it can be done. Okay, and this is very easy to find out. Fine. We can also do this by making use of universal indicator, which is a mixture of several indicators. Okay, so indicators, those things which finds out whether the given solution is acidic or basic. Okay, a lot of different types of indicators we mix together, that is called as universal indicator, and we try to find out what may be the strength of acid or base. Whenever we say strength, that means how much is the concentration of H plus ion or OH minus ion in the given solution. Okay, for acid and base respectively. A scale for measuring hydrogen ion concentration in a solution called pH scale has been developed. Okay, this is for acid. Okay, suppose you wish to find out what is the concentration of OH minus ion, it is called as POH. At the place of pH we write POH. Okay, but that will come in higher classes, not now. Okay, because pH is just the inverse of POH. Okay, we will learn that in later classes. The P in pH stands for Potenz in German, meaning power. So here when we say pH, that means power of hydrogen ion, H plus. Okay, on the pH scale we can measure pH generally from 0 to 14. Okay, 0 is very acidic and 14 is very alkaline. Alkaline solutions, about this we already have seen. Those bases which dissolve in water are called as alkaline. Okay, there are many bases which don't dissolve in water, they are not called as alkaline. Okay, so these things we already have seen in the previous video. If you have missed that, please touch the card and you will see that thing, you will learn that thing. pH would be thought of simple as a number which indicates the acidic or basic nature of solution. Okay, so just by finding out what is the pH number, okay, from 0 to 14, we can find out whether it is whether the given solution is acidic or basic, or how is much stronger it is. Higher the hydronium ion concentration, lower will be the pH value. That means if suppose the amount of H plus ion, that is hydronium ion, is very high, okay, the pH value will be very less, okay, very near to 0. Okay, the pH of a neutral solution is 7, as you can see in figure 2.6. okay, variation of pH with change in concentration of H plus, aqueous and OH minus aqueous ions. Okay, 7 is neutral. Okay, it is also the pH of water. Okay, and as we decrease from 7, okay, acidity increases, and the near the 0, the higher will be the H plus ion concentration. Okay, and also as we go far away from 7 to 14, basicity increases, or the amount of OH minus ion in the solution increases. Okay, fine, where was I? Okay, the pH of neutral solution is 7. Values less than 7 on the pH scale represent an acidic solution. Okay, as the pH value increases from 7 to 14, it represents the increase of OH minus ion concentration in the solution. Okay, that is increase in the strength of alkali. Okay, that means is increase in the strength of bases. Okay, and I already have said you, if you want you can note it down, you can write it down, that H plus ion is released by acids and OH minus ions are released by bases. Higher will be the amount of H plus ion in the solution, stronger will be the acid. Likewise, higher will be the amount of OH minus ion in the solution, stronger will be the base. Okay, the pH of water is 7. It is the number 7 is neutral. Water is neutral, neither acidic nor basic. And also, when we decrease from number 7 to 0, the acidity strength increases, and when we increase from number 7 to 14, the basicity of the solution increases. Okay. Generally, paper impregnated with universal indicators is used for measuring pH. So what really happens there is, in the paper, when you dip that into any solution, it will give you a color, and based on the darkness of that color, we can find out whether the solution is acidic or basic and what may be its strength approximately. Okay, now here an activity is given, activity 2.11. I already have said you that if you read the NCERT books, okay, never miss the activities, because it is the way of the board to teach the students, to guide the students in every aspect. The more activity you will do, the more things you will learn. Test the pH value of solutions given in table 2.2. So here some things are given, some solutions are given, and you have to find out whether it is acidic or basic, or and also what may be its strength. Record observations. What is the nature of each substance on the basis of your observations? You have to find out. Okay. So here saliva before meal, before you eat. Okay. Put your saliva on litmus paper and see what is the color of paper. Okay, and then according to the darkness of the color, okay, as you can see here in this scale, in this figure 2.7, that as the color changes, it shows also about the acidity or basicity, and also the strength of acid or base. Okay, so you have to write it down. Saliva before meal, after meal, lemon juice, colorless aerated drink. Okay, then carrot juice, coffee, tomato juice, tap water, 1 molarity of NaOH, 1 molarity of HCl. So all these things, if you find out in the lab, do it and write your observation. Okay, write what you get. So here pH of some common substances shown on a pH paper. Okay, colors are only a rough guide. Okay, because sometimes it happens that we cannot distinguish between the color of number 0 and number 1 and number 2. Okay, our perspective is only to find out whether it is acidic or basic. Okay, so for pH 7, it is the pH of pure water. For blood, it is 7.4. What really happens is the water available, if it is pure, okay, its pH value will be between 7.1 to 7.6. Okay, means our and also for blood also. That means Our blood is slightly basic in nature. Okay, then gastric juice which our stomach makes, it is highly acidic because its pH value is 1. Then lemon juice, it's about 2.2. Okay, milk of magnesia, it is basic in nature and its basicity is 10. And sodium hydroxide NaOH, it is highly basic. Okay, its pH value is 14. Fine. The strength of acids and bases depends on the number of H plus ions and OH minus ions produced respectively. Okay, means higher will be the amount of H plus ion, higher will be the acidity, and higher will be the amount or higher will be the number of OH minus ions, higher will be the basicity. Okay, or stronger will be the base. If we take hydrochloric acid and acetic acid of same concentration, suppose 1 molar, okay, here, then these produce different amount of hydrogen gases. Okay, and based on the amount of hydrogen gases released, its acidity will be different. Acids that give rise to more hydrogen plus ions are said to be strong acids, and acids that gives less H plus ions are said to be weak acids. Okay, now can you now say what weak and strong bases are? Yes. Okay, those bases which gives lesser amount of OH minus ions are weaker bases, and those bases which gives higher number of OH minus ions are stronger bases. Fine. Now coming to section 2.3.1, that is importance of pH in everyday life. How it is connected to our life. Okay, because in our day-to-day life we don't use the word pH, but even though it is related to us, let us see how it is. Are plants and animals pH sensitive? Our body works within the pH range of 7.0 to 7.8. Okay, so slightly basic. Living organisms can survive only in a narrow range of pH change. When pH of rainwater is less than 5.6, it is called as acidic rain. Okay, and mostly it happens in cities where pollution is very high. Okay, when acid rain flows into the rivers, it lowers the pH value of the river water, and so it changes the lifestyle of aquatic animals. Okay, the survival of aquatic life in such rivers becomes very difficult because they are too much sensitive towards pH. Okay, do you know acids on other planets? The atmosphere of Venus is made up of thick white and yellowish cloud of sulfuric acid. Okay, so here life cannot exist. Okay, because even if it will rain there, it will be the rain of pure sulfuric acid or highly concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, what is the pH of the soil in your backyard? Plants require a specific pH range for their healthy growth. We know very well that we have different types of soil, and at different types of soil we have different type of produce. Different types of plants are grown there. Okay, not all the plants can be grown on all the types of land, and every type of land has different pH value. Okay, then for healthy growth of plants, okay, very specific pH is chosen, or very specific pH range is required. To find out the pH required for the healthy growth of a plant, you can collect the soil from various places and check the pH in the manner described below in activity 2.12. Do this activity with your friends and enjoy how to find the pH of soil and what type of plants or herbs or shrubs are grown in those places. Okay, so let us start. Put about 2 grams soil in a test tube and add 5 milliliter of water in it. Okay, it is just like 2-3 drops of water. Check the content in the test tube, filter the content and collect the filtrate in a test tube. Okay, check the pH of this filtrate, means you have to take the solution and you have to check the pH of that solution with the help of universal indicator paper. If you haven't this indicator paper, you can also use litmus paper, but it will not help you much about pH. Okay, what can you conclude about the ideal soil pH of growth of plant in your region? Okay, so these things if you do with your friends, you will get huge ideas. Okay, very high amount of data you can get if you do that experiment with your friends. Now, pH in our digestive system. Okay, we know very well that in our stomach different types of juices are made. Okay, those are basic in nature. Now let us see how the pH in our digestive system affects our full body. It is very interesting to note that our stomach produces hydrochloric acid, okay, HCl, and that is of very high concentration. It helps in the digestion of food without harming the stomach. Okay, so whenever HCl is produced in our stomach, the inner walls of our stomach is not harmed. Okay, only the food get digested, only it helps to digest our food. Okay, during indigestion the stomach produces too much acid, and this causes pain and irritation. Sometimes it happens that if a person eats more than the need, okay, the stomach creates that much high amount of hydrochloric acid that the inner walls of the stomach or the inner tissue of the stomach itself gets corroded, and in that situation it gives very high pain. Okay, and in the very first sentence, very first paragraph of chapter 2, we have seen that if any person is suffering from acidity, we have to give him or her basic solution. Okay, so that when acid and base will react together, it will neutralize and form salt and water, and the person will get relief. To get rid of this pain, people use bases called antacids. Okay, so the bases which we use, okay, like glycogen, okay, those types of tablets, whether in solid form or liquids, okay, are used to remove acidity. Okay, or dizene also. One such remedy must have been suggested by you at the beginning of this chapter. When we have started this chapter, we have seen there these antacids neutralizes the excess acid. Magnesium hydroxide or milk of magnesia, a mild base, is often used for this purpose. Okay, but this also has a limit up to how much amount of acid it can neutralize. Okay, if the amount of acid is more than that, in that situation the person has to go to the hospital, and or the person has to vomit the things eaten. Fine. Now pH change as the cause of tooth decay. Okay, when tooth decay happens, what really happens in our mouth? Tooth decay starts when pH of mouth is lower than 5.5. Means if suppose the saliva which our mouth makes regularly, if it becomes highly acidic, okay, in that situation the tooth decays. Tooth enamel made of calcium phosphate is the hardest substance in our body. Okay, the covering of the tooth, that is also called as tooth enamel, okay, which is made of calcium phosphate. It is toughest part of our body. Okay, it does not dissolve in water. Means if you take a tooth, okay, not your tooth, okay, if you get a tooth from a biolab and you put that into water for a long time, it will not decay because it has a protective layer of calcium phosphate. Okay, but it is corroded when the pH in the mouth is below 5.5. Means it will corrode when the saliva becomes acidic. Bacteria present in the mouth produce acids by degradation of sugar and food particles remaining in the mouth after eating. Okay, our parents always say that whenever you eat, after eating, do flush off your mouth. Okay, so that if any food particle had stick to in the gaps of the teeth, okay, it should come out. What really happens there is, when the tooth particles stick to the teeth or fixes in the gap the teeth, okay, it produces huge amount of bacteria. Those when they decompose those food, okay, it converts into base. Okay, and because of those bases the tooth decays. The best way to prevent this is to clean the mouth after eating food. Okay, just flush your mouth as much as possible 2-3 times after taking your food. Using toothpastes, which are generally basic for cleaning the teeth, can neutralize the excess acid and prevent tooth decay. Okay, every toothpaste which we get from market, okay, it is slightly basic in nature. Okay, that when we rub those toothpaste on our teeth, okay, it neutralizes the acid made by bacteria there and cleans our teeth. Fine. Now, self-defense by animals and plants through chemical warfare. Okay, these days a lot of war is happening around the world. Okay, like India, Pakistan, India, China. Okay, I am recording this video on today is 30th September 2020. Okay, and today Armenia and Azerbaijan are fighting with each other because of some land. Okay, and Turkey and Russia is involved there. So not going to those geopolitical warfare. Here we will study about how we can do self-defense. Okay, by plants and animals using chemical warfare. Okay, have you ever been stung by honeybee? Okay, I have once, and it's too much painful. Bee sting leaves an acid which causes pain and irritation, and swelling happens in that area. Use of a mild base like baking soda on the stung area gives relief. Means if you just sprinkle some amount of baking soda in that area, it will give you relief, because there baking soda is basic in nature and the bee sting is acidic, so both react and it will neutralize each other. Stinging hair of nettle leaves inject methanoic acid causing burning pain. Okay, so these things, these are the remedies which you will have available at your home. Fine. Nature provides neutralization option. Okay, let us see how. Nettle is a herbaceous plant which grows in the wild. Its leaves have a stinging hair. If you see this, okay, its leaves have very fine hairs, okay, and which is stinging, okay, which causes painful sting when touched accidentally. If you touch it, it will give you huge pain. This is due to the methanoic acid secreted by the leaves hair. Okay, a traditional remedy is rubbing the area with the leaf of dog plant, which often grows beside the nettle in the wild. Means wherever in the wild you have a nettle plant, just next to it there will be dog plant. Nature is the best doctor. Okay, so if you are being stung by the acid present in nettle, okay, just rub there with the base present in dog leaf. Okay, can you guess the nature of dog plant? Yes, it is basic. So next time when you know what to look out for if you accidentally touch a nettle plant while trekking. Are you aware of any other effective traditional remedies for such things? Yes, a lot of things are available around us which our grandmothers know very well. Okay, now some naturally occurring acids we will learn here. Okay, natural source and acid. In vinegar we have acetic acid, orange citric acid, tamarind tartaric acid, tomatoes oxalic acid. And an interesting fact about tomatoes is that it is not a vegetable, it is a fruit which we use as vegetable. Okay, sour milk or curd, it contains lactic acid. Okay, there lactobacillus converts the milk into curd, we know very well. Lemon contains citric acid. Okay, and sting contains methanoic acid. Nettle sting methanoic acid. Okay, so these are the things naturally occurring and contains different types of acids. Okay, now this is the end of section 2.3. Okay, we have learned today a lot of things about acids and bases, about universal indicators. Then we have seen about pH scale. Okay, we have seen about concentration of acids and base with regard to H plus and OH minus ions. Okay, then we have seen pH in digestive system. Okay, then we tried to find out the pH of soil in our neighborhood. Okay, and a lot of things we have studied today. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this video. Okay, I request you all to please subscribe my channel Pratik Singh Classes. The more the subscriber number will be, the more I will be motivated to make videos for you. Okay, and I request you all to please share the link of this video among your friends so that everybody should get benefits from my knowledge. Okay, if you have any doubt related to this video. If you want to ask any question, okay, all questions are most welcome. You just have to do is type your doubt in the comment section of this video, and every Sunday I will bring the questionnaire. While you are asking your doubt, please mention your name, your place of living and school's name. Okay, the best innovative question will get something from me. Okay, that is a surprise. Fine. Till my next video, take care of yourself. Bye bye.